What the frack? All right, guys. I fixed it, man. I don't know what the frick happened there. You guys hear me now? It says my mic's on now. It does this, bro. Sometimes it just gives you problems. So ridiculous. It's like you never know what you're going to get with this situation. So it's a pretty ridiculous thing. Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to tell you guys how much I appreciate and love you, and my mic wanted to have a problem. So I'm pretty pissed off about it. I was thanking you for giving me the time to deal with that situation. Yes, thank you, Tess. It does this sometimes, man. There's just nothing you can do. There's no reason for it to not work. I've had some serious audio issues. I don't know if it's the interface or the camera or just, I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'll make sure that we don't run into these problems ahead of time. What I was going to tell you guys is I'm just thankful for you. Thank you for giving me time to think about my feelings. It was a hard day the other day, a hard truth. I just kept thinking to myself, like, how am I supposed to help other victims if I do not face this for myself? And, I didn't have to watch that. It was the first time I felt like I made a decision for myself in this entire situation. I decided to make that decision to watch it. I watched it because if I'm going to cover other people's families, I can't have the monster in the closet that I'm not able to face and then try to help people heal. It's almost just hypocritical. So I put that out there just to give you guys the love, the respect, and to thank you for giving me the time to take yesterday to just recoup, feel my feelings. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to start by telling you this. There's two good things that came out of yesterday or Monday. By the way, what's up, Slow Morrison? What's up, guys? I want to tell you, you're going to see the Askcolbyj hat soon. I got the one off Amazon. We'll make our own. We'll just put some ice cubes on a hat, make it look cool. Makes me excited to want to do more of that kind of stuff with you guys and make it fun for us. So I like to have things that resonate with all of us, But I'll tell you this. Two good things I think came out of what happened. Okay. Number one, I made the decision for myself to listen to what happened to my family. I made that decision. And that's, again, for the first time in this entire process, I feel like I got to make a decision, which is, can't even explain to you how many decisions I haven't had. It's just been nonstop me being forced to do things, meaning forced to deal with it, forced to have that trauma forced on me all the time. So I say all that to put it into context of this. Another good thing is I think I closed the book on Lori in a way that I think I didn't know I needed. I thought I was already there. What happened for me personally was that if I would have known this stuff, I don't even think I would have tried to connect with her. I don't even think I would have tried. I wouldn't have had anything left. And it taught me to let her go. And I already did, but like that was just full on like, okay, this is what it is. And after we're going to have to break down my interview now. After all of this, we will break down that interview because now there's so much more context to that interview of what she told me happened versus what they presented as evidence in a court case against her. So I say all that because it let me let go even more if that was possible. And I also wanted to do this for other victims. I wanted to have, and I hate to use the word victims. We just talked about that, but yes, you're a victim to something, but you're also a survivor. And we want to recognize you as a person, not a victim to a crime, right? But I say this because I hope that other people who have gone through this, other survivors, can recognize that you can face hard things, that you can do it. And when you're ready, by the way, when you're ready, and, you make your decisions. So I say all that so you guys know we're on the same page. Today we are finishing Ray's testimony. The defense is going to be finishing up their part. So what we'll do is hop into that, finish it up. I don't know who's next. Like I said, we're probably going to skip to some of the bigger testimonies. So the next one I saw is Melanie Gibb. I don't know if we'll get to that today. I am planning on giving us about 2 hours. So I'm going to get us started now. I just wanted to say thank you. I didn't want to just skip over you guys today and jump into our stuff. I wanted to take that time, let you know how much I appreciate you. You guys have been here for a really hard part of my life. We've processed it together. We've become a big family. I genuinely love you guys. And, I'm trying not to cry right now when I say it, but we put the stitch up. So it's gonna be in our background. And I wanted to just go ahead and say that Ray brought this to me, and it means a lot to me because it was Tylee's, and just feels like a part of her is here. So all right, we're not doing tears already. It's okay to cry, but right now I'm already getting there. But we have a lot of things. We got Spider-Man hanging by a thread up there because you know I'm a nerd. So let's just get to it. Love you guys, and we're gonna just jump right back into what we were going at. Ray's just finishing up here, so we're gonna get his done, and then we'll see who's next. We are not gonna watch every expert. We are not gonna watch every single part of this in that way, just because it's too much of that other information that's just for the jury, and that part is not really as important to what we're learning about. So we're gonna hop right in. You guys know I love you. Let's just get this one knocked out. It's about an hour and 30, and then if we got more to go, we'll go more. So let's finish up for where Ray was at.
Digging at the morning detective.
There we go. A lot of pre stuff.
So yesterday we left off talking about the dig on June the 9th. And you indicated that you were brought from the fire pit over to the pet cemetery. Is that correct? Okay.
Does he not have a mic on?
You indicated that there were, well, I don't know that you indicated, I guess I should ask. How many people were with you when you were digging at the...
Wait, is this part 2?
At the pet cemetery.
Hold on. Did we already listen to this?
How many other people were digging with you? I believe you said that you were...
in just that open day room area, and then in...
Okay, yeah, so we have it. So that is the end. I'm sorry.
Where in relation to that ring of where the fire pit was, the actual fire pit area, where in relation to that was were the teeth and the bones found?
Oh,
I don't recall.
Were you the one that recovered them?
No, sir.
Who was the one that recovered those?
I don't recall who exactly it was that recovered them.
Okay, how did you come to the knowledge that there were some that were found?
Because I was there on scene.
Okay. But you don't know who found them, and you don't know...
Give me 1 second.
When they were found?
No, sir.
All right, fixed it. It's way too low.
I believe you said that you left on June the 10th to go to Ada County. About what time did you leave Fremont County?
Roughly 3 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Let me fix this, guys. Kelsey just reminded me. I'm going to turn on 1.5.
And then when you got to Ada
1.25
County, I'm assuming it was after normal business hours, after 5 o'clock. And so how does it work when you drop a body off at the coroner's office?
We called. They knew we were on our way. There's a bay that we pull into. They had one of their employees meet us at the bay. He then took custody of JJ and Tylee out of the back of the coroner's vehicle, and they were left there in the custody of Ada County Coroner.
Okay. And do you specifically recall who this particular individual was that was working at the Ada County Coroner's office?
I don't recall a name, no.
Okay.
I'm sure there's paperwork on it.
Okay. Did you recall seeing him the next day at the autopsy?
No, he was not at the autopsy the next day.
Okay. So it would have been one of the people listed on the whiteboard.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to jump back a little bit to JJ's burial site. I'm going to hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 10H.
I'm trying to figure out what the defense's job is. Like, what are they trying to do here? Because they have no defense. So what is their job, like, in their brain? Like, oh, I'm going to disprove stuff? I don't understand
This is a photograph of the burial spot where the rocks had been removed already, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And these are the boards that were recovered?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you ever look or try to see where these boards might match in this house? Did you find anything in the garage or in the barn area?
Yeah,
or
like
anywhere else?
you're telling me
We did.
and
that they need to prove that those boards were there what a stupid idea, right? Like we're gonna have to prove that they were materials used, like someone to just use Chad's backyard to bury, his wife's kids. I don't know. Let's make sure that there's materials in the house that matches.
Was there anything that came of that?
There were boards that were similar to the style, similar to the thickness, but we were never able to match, if you will, the sister board to the boards that we located.
Okay. And where did you locate those boards?
In Chad Daybell's garage area, just on his property, the red garage area.
Okay. And were you a part of that actual search?
I was a part of the search, yes.
Okay. And you were one of the ones that were trying to match these boards up?
I personally didn't try to match the boards up. We were all part of the search looking for boards similar.
Okay. And when you say all, you mean everybody that was on the property that day?
Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Okay. Anybody in particular that you
Yeah,
remember?
it's very pointless.
No, sir.
They don't have any specific. That's why they don't have a way to do that. Yeah, that's what's crazy. See, and I don't know a lot about
search the
Lori's or Chad's trial, but I do know that I heard that he was throwing her under the bus, and she refused to throw him under the bus. So again, I told you guys a long time ago, when you watch that first video of Lori and Chad together, she was like in defense of him. She was standing on the outside of him while they were walking on the street, which I told you guys, I think it's polite for all men to make sure your family's on the inside, woman is on the inside of you, out of respect for them and also to protect them. She was defending him then. She's defending him now. She's still married to him. Who knows how he thinks and feels? But Chad is the psychopath that we went over in our psychopath video. He's a psychopath because he's willing to throw anybody and everybody under the bus, including his children, including his wife, his first and second wife. He would do anything he could to survive for himself. He is absolutely a diabolical human being, and there's nothing that he wouldn't do to protect himself. So you have to look at it from that point. Like, there is no empathy in that man's heart, even for his own family members, his own children, nobody.
Of Lori Vallow or of Alex Cox or of Melanie Bedreau, Melanie Pulowski. You didn't find any boards that matched, that even looked similar to any of those boards, right?
We weren't looking for boards at that time. The search was November 27th, 2019.
Yeah.
We didn't search Mr. Daybell's property until June of 2020.
Right.
Okay. Did you find any boards, anything in your search when you searched the apartments on November 26th? Anything popping out in your mind? Any spare wood laying around or anything like that?
What a weird question.
Sure, we weren't looking for boards at that time, so
They didn't
I wouldn't
find
have
the
been drawn
kids.
to any boards. They wouldn't have meant anything at that time.
What's up, Kelly?
Did you take photographs? Were there photographs taken of those searches?
There were.
Okay. You've studied those photographs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of your investigation. You're the lead investigator for this team today, right?
That's correct.
All right. So that would have been part of your job, is to study those photos, be there on scene. Nothing came out that looked like there were any boards or anything like that in that search or in any
So
of those
he's trying to say it was just Chad?
I
Like,
don't
what's your
recall
point?
any boards in any of the photographs.
A million times over. It's the
You did a
same
thorough
thing.
search of those apartments?
For the children?
Appreciate you, Stephanie.
You did a thorough search of the apartments, right? You photographed a lot of stuff.
Correct.
Okay. Jumping back to the autopsy, you indicate that you were there when JJ's
Appreciate you
autopsy was
guys.
done. Was there any trace evidence collected on that particular day on June 11th from the autopsy?
We stood in the back. The medical examiner didn't let us get too up close with, he had his team working around JJ. So I wasn't directly involved with the autopsy, so I can't answer to that.
So what we're listening to, guys, we are listening to Ray. We just watched this on Monday. So Ray is finishing his testimony with the defense. They cut off the day because it got late. They're finishing with Ray, and they're crossing Ray off of what he testified to for the prosecution. And the prosecution was, running him through what happened when they found Tylee and JJ. It's a really hard day. Now Ray's just being crossed on nothing. basically the cross is simply, wasn't this all Chad Daybell? It sounds like that. That's what I can sound like. The based off of this line of questioning already, I'm already assuming he's trying to immediately put it on Chad and make it look like it wasn't anybody else involved. So I don't know. I don't know what you do here. You don't really have an option as a defense. You know you can't win it. So try to make Ray look
I
a
just
certain way.
observed.
Okay. At any time later after the autopsy was done, did you take trace evidence off of JJ's body?
I did not know personally.
Okay. Do you know anybody who did?
I do not know personally anybody that did.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions, Ryan.
Okay, so
right.
Ray just got finished. I don't know if they get to re-examine that, if that's something that they get to do.
Mr. Wood, does the state have any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can.
Hmm. So I never understood that. Like, why does the prosecution gets to go twice? I guess because they're the
on cross. You were asked about the weapons that were found in the garage of apartment 175, correct?
Correct.
And if you had any knowledge that they belonged to Lori Daybell.
I do not have any knowledge that they belong to Lori. No.
Right. So why did you take pictures of those items that day?
All right, so if you really want to get into it, I'll tell you guys. This is not about money. If I wanted to make tons and tons of money off of a tragedy, I would be like some of these other channels. We are talking about my family. We are talking about what happened to my family. If I wanted to cash checks, I could. I don't need to do this to make money. My goal is to change the way that victims of crimes are viewed. We are learning about this because going into the future, to tell the proper story of what happened to my family and to speak for the voiceless, for my siblings, how in the world can I do that if I don't even know what happened fully? So I'll tell you this. I care about my family. I care about my siblings. And one day I'm going to try to tell their story. And one day I'm going to give a voice to the voiceless. And if I were to not know all this stuff, I could still try my best, but it is simply just that I am trying so hard to understand. And, you know, I think this, like, I think that, and maybe Kelsey said I read your comment wrong, but I would like to just clarify this. I want people to know how much I care about my family. I want, and sorry if I read your question wrong. I get you now, but I want to address this because it's a lot of questions. A lot of people say the same thing. And, you know, if I wanted to make money off of a situation, I've had the offers in my email, you know, I know guys, and again, I apologize to you. I misread your comment, but I wanted to address it because it's there. A lot of people ask this question and it's an understandable question. Like, why do this on YouTube? And I keep thinking to myself, when I was suffering, I went on YouTube and I looked for anything I could to be comforting, anything I could to have that. And I'm telling you right now, there's other victims that are going to know this story. They come for this story and they walk away with something else. That is the goal. Now, when it comes to Chad and Lori, let me be honest with you. Chad is a psychopath, in my opinion. Chad does not have any empathy, lacks all empathy. That's number one. Number two, Lori is the very disassociated, delusional human being. They knew they could get money, right? Did they think that they could get through it and get away with it because they thought the world was going to end? Let's just pretend that that's true. Let's pretend that that's true, that they thought, oh, the world's going to end, so we're going to have this money. I don't know how convicted they were. But yes, it was for money and for them to have each other. They thought that everyone... Yes, guys, I'm just letting you, I'm sorry. I misread that. So let me apologize to you. I misread the comment. And so I should have taken my time with it. And I apologize, but it's still something that I wanted to address with you guys anyway, because we're like a family. We've built a community, and this is just so you know where I stand. I have a real deep conviction about this in my heart, right? But I'll tell you, for their standpoint, yes, they wanted money, first of all. Secondly, they wanted okay, so what I think happened is I think that Chad was the one that said they need to go because look, he saved his kids. He just wanted Lori all to himself. And for whatever reason, she liked that idea. So we're at a point where you talk about, you bring in money, you bring in religion / witchcraft, and then you bring in selfishness, narcissism, and psychopaths, and you put them in a room and you mix them all together. And then you try to use God as the main conduit of why you're doing it. So I've explained that I think that Chad had no empathy and did not need to label people zombies to kill them. What I think that Lori and Alex needed is some kind of justification in a little bit of way to do it. Right? But if we have to understand, the world is pretty evil. The world's evil, and money becomes a reason why people do a lot of stuff. And it's unfortunate that people would rather have money and would kill their own children for some money. Can you imagine that? Yeah, religion was a scapegoat. They don't believe in God. But anyway, again, I just want to apologize for misreading that. That was my fault. Thank you guys for clarifying. Thank you, Kelsey, for clarifying. But either way, I'm glad we just addressed that thing. Appreciate you guys. Let's keep going.
A couple reasons. One, it was extremely suspicious to have those guns along with everything else we located. We took photographs because, and took the guns out of the residence because when we went inside the residence, the door was broken. It was unable to lock. So we took photographs of the weapons and held on to the weapons for safekeeping at that point.
Okay. And so at the time, why were those weapons suspicious? That's the word you used. Can you clarify that?
Exactly.
At the time, we knew that there was an attempted homicide in Gilbert, Arizona on October 2nd of Brandon Boudreaux. We also realized through our investigation that there was an attempted homicide or an attempted shooting at Tammy Daybell on October 9th. And that's why the weapons were photographed.
Okay. And they were seized, correct?
Correct.
And now, in light of all the evidence you're aware of, why are those things relevant? Why are those weapons relevant?
Because we're unsure whether those weapons were possibly used in those crimes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. This is what's so crazy, guys. Like, you have to understand my thing, by the way, thank you for your comment. My thing here that's confusing is, you know, when we watch these other trials, this is the first time I paid attention to the trials. Yeah, the board, the boards have nothing to do with anything, but the boards are like trying to prove that they were Chad Daybell's, not Lori's. Like, you're really gonna say that your kid was on someone else's property and try to blame the person who has the property only? Like, you're gonna act like you wouldn't know where your child is, right? That's what you're gonna try to pitch to me. But like I was saying, I just think it's weird because in this trial, this is everything laid out, like the whole spider web. Like, you remember we kept talking about open the door. They were literally cutting and making sure. They never talked about Tylee, never talked about JJ, never talked about Brandon until that point. Like, they had to be so careful. And this is crazy because this is just the gloves off. Like, this is everything. And they're able to touch on everything because it's all interconnected. So for me personally, it's crazy because you hear how real and how big this actually is, how far this spans across.
You stated earlier you had no reason to believe they were Lori's. At the time, did you have a reason to believe who they belonged to?
No.
Okay. Defense counsel asked you about the steps you took to obtain a search warrant, correct?
For which warrant?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go back to the morning of November 25th.
Okay.
That was the day.
You know what? I can't ever get out of my mind. And the more that we jump into talking about this, I can't get it out of my mind that this whole thing was something that they had to unravel, right? Like, Ray had to follow and trace and go through each step. And just the more deeper you go, the worse it got, the more crazy it got, the more people got involved, the more I can't even imagine. Then you hear from Ray's perspective, I'm not going to speak for him, but like from Ray's perspective, then you find out you're on a list. We talked about this in the podcast. You're now an evil person on their list. Well, what's happened to everybody that they didn't like on their list? How do you cope with that? Because then you learn about it. You're looking for the kids. You don't know what's going on. You're trying to figure out all this stuff, and you're tracing these people, and it's just like, exactly. This is like, can you imagine investigating this? Like, imagine putting up a board, and you're standing in front of that board, and you're connecting dots. Imagine what that would actually be like to be the one that figured all this stuff out. I just can't even imagine how much
25th.
work they
law
put into
enforcement first
this.
made contact with Lori Vallow.
That was November 26th.
November 26th. Thank you. And defense counsel asked you about a conversation that led you to take steps to get a warrant.
Correct.
Now, just to clarify.
Appreciate you, Mary. Thank you.
Everybody understands. When you made contact with
Exactly.
Chad Daybell and Alex Cox, who did you call?
Lieutenant Ron Ball.
Okay. And what did you do after Lieutenant Ron Ball arrived on scene?
We went back to apartment 175, knocked on the door. There was no answer. We also went to 174, which was Melanie Boudreau's apartment. Knocked on the door. There was no answer. There was also no answer at apartment 107.
Okay. And so at that point, what did you do?
At that point, we attempted to call Lori Vallow from a cell phone number that Chad Daybell finally provided to us. There was also no answer on the cell phone. So at that time, we drove to the prosecutor's office. To see
He
if
knew
we
they
needed
were
to obtain a
married.
warrant.
Okay.
He tried to
And
act like he
who
didn't even know
is
her,
we?
and they
Who are you
knew.
talking about?
Myself
were
and
married.
Detective Dave Hope.
And did you obtain a warrant on November 26th?
No, we did not.
How come?
We were able to make contact with Lori Vallow, and she was instructed to open the front door, that there were detectives outside that wanted to speak with her.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did she speak with them?
She did.
Now, yesterday, defense counsel asked you about a conversation that led you to take steps to get a warrant, correct?
Correct.
And you mentioned a Melanie Gibb, correct?
That's correct.
Who?
This is the
what was
first time I'm
conversation
diving into
that led
Melanie
you to
Gibb,
contacting
man.
Melanie Gibb?
When Lori Vallow was contacted by Lieutenant Ron Ball and Detective
My question is this, and honestly, like, this is just something we'll get into another time. My question becomes this: if Melanie Gibb was screwed over by them, which she was on that phone call, it obviously sounds like she was, but like, she knew about the zombies, right? Like, I remember the one thing I actually listened to was her interview with Nate back in the day. I remember I was laying outside in the middle of the summer with my headphones and listening to this long interview just to see what she says, because I knew her. I know who she is. And, you know, it's just like, it just doesn't make sense to me. How in the world could you believe in the zombies? You guys were best friends. Like, I know that Lori threw under the bus in the end and she ended up testifying against her, but it just something just doesn't make sense. Like, belief system wise, these people believe the same things from what I understand. Like, there was like a group, and then there was like a leveled of, but I believe this too. And like the close. That's this, like, the spouses, like, that's those people in that group that were like really close and really close friends. So I don't understand that. Something is just confusing to me about that part.
Dave Stubbs, she stated that JJ Vallow was with Melanie Gibb in Arizona. Immediately, we attempted to call Melanie, and she didn't answer the phone. They went back to the residence, made contact again with Lori Vallow, and she stated that JJ wanted to go see a movie, Frozen 2, and that Melanie Gibb had taken JJ to the movie to see Frozen 2, so that's why they weren't answering the cell phone.
Yeah. She lied to everybody,
And
dude.
to your knowledge, were you or other law enforcement able to get into contact with Melanie Gibb eventually?
Yes, we were.
Okay. And did she have JJ?
No, she did not.
And is that what led you to get a warrant the next day?
That's correct.
Thank you.
It's really hard to realize, like, there's nothing.
Defense counsel asked
There's just nothing you could have
about
done. It was just already too late.
all the tips you received. correct?
Correct.
Tell us a little more about the process you had set up to receive tips at the Rexburg Police Department.
We had a hotline through NCMEC, through the FBI, and through the Rexburg Police Department. And so when tips would come in to the Rexburg Police Department itself, we would have what's called a tip sheet. And we would have the number of the tip, who called the tip in. Sometimes they remained anonymous.
That's so tough because think about it. Like people genuinely thought they saw them. Appreciate you. I'm glad you guys are here. You guys are awesome. But imagine those tips, man. Imagine the amount of like information and the amount of people trying to help, but giving up any information they can. But then you're trying to follow every lead. There's hundreds of phone calls. Hey, we think we saw JJ. Hey, we think we saw the kids. There could be here, and then you got to call someone. I mean, Ray talked about this. You got to call someone and they got to go chase that down. Like, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot right there. And you're just like frantically searching. And then the worst part is like, it's always going to be hard for me to realize like how much Lori was involved and didn't care. Put it that way.
Sometimes they left their name and phone number. And just a brief description of what the tip was. At that time, it was assigned to an officer or detective to follow up with that individual tip and either confirm or deny the sighting or whereabouts based on the information on that tip.
Okay. And as I understood it yesterday, defense counsel essentially said you didn't follow up on every tip, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's talk about some different examples of those tips. Once you received a tip, you would attempt to contact the person, correct?
Yeah, what do you do?
Were there individuals who you were able to get in contact with?
There were.
Did some people send you pictures?
They did.
Were you ever able to match those pictures with pictures of Tylee and JJ?
No.
Okay. Were some of those tips from psychics?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have?
I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, and this is to be as respectful as possible. The whole psychic thing, people have talked about that woman, Reverend Donna, whatever her name is. There's a lot of, whatever things. Look, I'll just put it this way. It's when a police officer needs foundation and reasoning and they're trying to find kids, it's not going to be really easy to follow up on someone's ability that they say that they have, and that's my point. Exactly. And like, that's just really, it just dilutes the water even more. So in my opinion, that's just kind of one of those things like, okay, you're telling me you had a vision of this situation. I can't really go off of that. There's no basis behind that. No matter what you say your powers are in that realm, you got to understand how that just is not credible. That's like just as much as me saying I have a feeling to go check this area. That's just as credible as far as giving someone an information. I don't care what you claim to be. You genuinely cannot say that is a credible thing. Trying to be respectful of the people's time, like the cops' time. It's just not gonna mean, it's not gonna mean anything as far as like credibility for these police officers.
Were there any occasions where people would call and leave a tip and you would try to contact them and they would not respond?
Yes, there were.
Okay. But you did try to reach out to every single one of those people, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you followed up on every tip.
That's correct.
Okay. Defense counsel asked you yesterday about a body cam. They asked if you were wearing a body cam.
Correct.
And you responded that you weren't.
Correct.
As a detective, do you normally wear a body cam?
No, sir.
When you were on patrol, did you normally wear a body cam?
Absolutely. When we were on patrol, we were assigned a body cam. When I went over to the detective division, it's very rare that we make field contacts or we're the first people on
Yes,
scene.
exactly.
It's usually patrol. So a lot of our contacts and interviews are in a more controlled environment at the police department.
So you guys are saying that Lori refiled for a new thing, that's the thing is it's going to happen. What they try to do is every single one of those situations, they're going to try to retrial it. That's just what happens. So you can't really do anything about that. That's just part of the reality. It's unfortunate. It's so ridiculous that they would even think that they could have a retrial for that. But yeah, it's just her trying to not go back and be done, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like that affected anything. She just wants another jury to see if she can slide. And I'll never understand that. Like, dude, you literally have if you win, you literally don't get out. There's nothing else. You just don't get charged for one thing that you did do. So that's my point. It's just one of those things, man. I think for me, even if she got another one, it would just be such a waste of time. I don't see how you could even say there's a basis. Even if you're sick, that shouldn't affect anything. And we're not going to get into that today.
And a vast majority of those are recorded at the police department.
Okay. Defense counsel asked you about sifting through the fire pit. Can you describe the process of how you sifted and another sifted through the fire pit?
The evidence recovery team, FBI evidence recovery team, brought a sifter with them. We would have one person scoop a shovel full of dirt, place it into the sifter. Underneath the sifter, there was a tarp. And so we would shake the sifter, sift through the dirt, and any material that was too big to go through the sifter was examined.
If I'm being honest with you, that's a great question. Do I think that she thinks they're in a genuinely better place? Yes. Lori has some beliefs. So you have to understand she grew up LDS, so there's supposed to be some idea of, the LDS heaven and hell. And I think in LDS culture, there's not really as much of a hell as more like a outer darkness. So maybe that's different. But like, as far as her belief system, this is what it is. She believes that okay, let me put it this way. Do I believe that she thinks that maybe they were zombies? I think in some way she convinced herself that they were, in a sense, though, that way they can actually get rid of them with some kind of justification for themselves to do the act. Now, do I think in her soul and her heart of hearts she believes that they were zombies? No. And do I think that she made up that entire situation to protect herself from the pain of what she did? Yes. I think Lori has an actual skill called disassociation. And I think her disassociation is she's so deeply disassociated from reality that those pieces just are protectors and for her. So, she full well knows better, because they wouldn't have run. This is the thing I talk about with real conviction. If you really think about real conviction, if you look, and especially if you're going to use the Bible, let's use the Bible. Let's talk about that. If the people who believed in Jesus Christ went out and preached and got killed for it, there was no really running from that situation. We all know we have convictions in our heart that what we believe, and that's what our country is built off of, is so that we stand behind these things. So if you are this convicted of the fact that you saw Jesus Christ, that he's your friend, he's your this, Jesus told you to do this, there wouldn't be as much fear as they had. But they were terrified. They ran away. They lied to everybody they could. They thought they were going to slide. Unfortunate situation to use, any kind of religious idea that Jesus Christ, and use his name, very blasphemous, to use his name to justify yourself in killing your family, and then pretend like you don't know better. And then when you get an opportunity to tell me what happened, point blank, you blame Tylee, who was the second victim, and died before JJ even did. But then she's somehow the problem, and you are she victimized herself. So just remember that this woman told me that Tylee did it, my little sister did it, and that she has been suffering and now she's in jail for no apparent reason and she's being tried for no reason. It's all a family tragedy. Okay. It's I don't even know what that word is. That is probably just the most middle finger you can get.
Occasionally we would get rocks and different things, but there were many times that we got teeth, charred bone,
1,000%.
little
1,000%.
burnt pieces
right.
of flesh that were still there. So that was the process. We would call over an ERT member who was in charge of photographs if there was something that was in the sifter. We wouldn't touch it. We would call over a photographer. They would take pictures of it, log it down, and take it into evidence. Once that was completed, we would go back to sifting.
Defense counsel asked you about
Thank you, Shannon.
the timeline of the search on the Daybell property. Correct?
Correct.
So just to clarify that. again.
Yeah, so I'm going to say
Approximately-
this and we'll talk about this. Some of these things are full on videos for this reason. Okay. Some of these things that are said, Lori would have told everybody that wouldn't have been a secret. That was made up, and all of it's made up. I mean, the whole, all this new life stuff, all of this stuff must have happened really quickly, really, really quickly. I don't get it. But it happened really, really quickly for her. So I'm not sure what the plan was there. I'm not sure how much deeper she got, but it's weird, man. It's really, really weird. So we're at that point where we're never going to understand it no matter what, but she would have told everybody. I mean, that's just an odd thing, like to say out of nowhere, because you know what, for me, that comment makes me think, I appreciate you and I love you too. Someone would have known she passed. Someone would have known that. The doctors would have known that. Yes, you're exactly right. There's not that, and everybody has some level of disassociation. What I'm saying is just she's so disassociated mixed with all the other stuff. Again, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't really do anything about that. But I'll tell you this. Unfortunately, that was her way of just blaming Tylee. That was her way. That was her way of basically saying Tylee killed me, in my opinion. Right? Like, what was the point of that? Like, what was the point of telling me? Like, does she really think that I believe that? Does she really believe that I believe that Tylee held JJ down because he was screaming in the apartment and accidentally killed him and then killed herself? Does that even sound even slightly probable? You know? So obviously she hates Tylee. And I hate to bring that up so bluntly, but it's just the truth. And it makes me sad. It breaks my heart. But it's just the truth. She just hates Tylee. Just hates her.
What time did you show up at the residence?
Approximately 7 in the morning
Okay.
on June 9th.
And other members of the search team were staged
Correct.
down the road at the Sugar Salem Church.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't think you
You
could have
recall
said anything
approximately what time
worse
they showed up?
in the whole world than that to me. She couldn't have said anything more.
Probably
She couldn't have.
7,
She couldn't have. Literally, there's
20,
nothing in the world she could have
7:30
said
in the
that was
morning.
worse than the things she told me in that interview.
You testified yesterday about
She hated her.
About
She hated her
Wilmore and
daughter.
Chad Daybell.
And
yes, sir.
what can you do when someone hates their own kid?
you testified
It's
about
really that they
observing
hate
him
themselves.
in front of his house sitting in a car.
Correct.
You know what it
Approximately
is?
time
I'm
was
just going to say it right now. Lori projected all of her self issues to Tylee, her daughter. Whatever reason why, we don't know. What happened is, yes, exactly, Kelsey. It's something that it's what Lori did, and what a lot of people who are evil do is they project themselves to their evil acts. They blame other people for it, right? Not to get on a tangent, but like if you start studying people that are horrible, like Hitler, people who have done some of the most heinous things in the world, they have a lot of psychological self issues, right? People who are loved, who feel loved, who do not have that stuff, do not do this. You know what I mean? So That's the point. Lori used Tylee as her scapegoat. She used all of her pain of her self-hatred, and projected it to Tylee. And Tylee did not deserve it, or was it warranted? But that's just a problem of not being able to heal. Lori never healed from all her issues, and unfortunately made some of the worst decisions a human being can ever make. So
Approximately between 8 and 8:30, maybe.
Okay. And you observed him, to your perception, looking over his shoulder.
Yes,
You testified, correct, that he was on the phone?
correct.
yeah, deep projection of self-hatred. Because guess what? Tylee didn't do anything to deserve that
Going
feeling.
back to those tips really quick.
So that goes back
you said
to
you followed
that
up on
point. Where'd that
every
come from?
one where the police did. Were any of them credible?
No,
Meaning, and let me re-ask that, I apologize. Did any of them aid in finding JJ or Tylee?
no,
Have you ever, since June 9th, or let me rephrase that, at any time in your investigation, have you found any evidence to suggest that JJ was alive after September 22nd or 23rd?
no, sir.
Similarly, at any time in your investigation, have you found any evidence to suggest that Tylee was alive after September 8th or 9th, 2020?
Of 2019,
2019, I apologize, thank you.
not after September 8th or 9th of 2019. No.
It happens a lot. It's like the person who's actually. I'll tell you something about Tylee. Okay, people kind of say this idea she was feisty, this and that. No, Tylee was just. Tylee was just. She spoke out. And guess what? A lot of people, especially narcissistic people, do not like people who can call them out. Tylee was very intelligent, and Tylee could tell Lori to her face, hey, you are doing this. The worst part is Tylee wanted Lori's love like any child would want their mom's love. And what happened was she was still, though, did not like how Lori operated, and she would tell her that. And exactly, Kel. Hold on. What I said. Exactly. So that's just what it is. Tylee was the opposite of me. I was very passive. I never liked to cause issues. I would just rather sit on it and take L's all the time and be run over and steamrolled. And Tylee just wasn't she didn't get steamrolled from a young age. She said exactly how she felt and thought. And, that's just what it is. Thank you, Allie.
Defense
Hope you're doing
counsel
good
asked you
too.
this morning about the search of Lori's apartment, or Miss Daybell's apartment, correct?
Correct.
At that point, was it a homicide investigation?
No, sir.
What were you looking for?
We were looking for JJ Vallow at that point.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Your Honor, I have no further questions at this time.
Your Honor, I apologize. May I recross? There's just one.
They were
I
just
know
looking
this
for
is-
JJ, and then when they talked to me, I told them about Tylee, and then that's when it all started. Is that right? Is that correct? Because Tylee obviously was older, but that doesn't matter because she hasn't been heard from. So I don't know. I'm confused. Trying to figure this out. It's just.
I don't want to get into a thing where we're going back and forth, but there is one thing I'd like to ask you real quick.
All out, limited recross.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thomas.
Detective, you indicated on redirect examination that there was an attempted homicide on October the 9th, 2019. You specifically used those words, attempted homicide. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. There's no evidence of an attempted homicide on October the 9th, correct?
We believe there was an attempted homicide on October the 9th.
Okay.
2019.
Let me just back up a little bit here. So
This guy,
on
dude,
October
I'm
the 9th,
sorry.
Tammy Daybell said that she was confronted with someone who she thought had a paintball gun, correct?
Correct.
And she said that someone had shot a paintball gun in her direction. Is that correct?
That's
She
correct.
didn't know.
And
Oh my gosh.
you never found any bullets, any bullet holes, anything like that when you investigated the October 9th
Oh my
attempted
gosh. You're
paintball shooting?
we're really gonna pretend.
I personally didn't investigate it. It happened in Fremont County, so that would be a Fremont County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Would have done that.
But you're the case agent here today, and you've reviewed all that information, correct?
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
That was it. That's what I'm saying, bro.
All right,
We've said it
that'll
on every
conclude
live.
the testimony then of the
This is where
detective.
she got her skill set from. Seriously, like she sounds exactly like him. And I'm not trying to
The
make this
state
guy feel
agent
bad. I'm
will
just
have to
saying.
remain in, so you can go ahead and step down. Thank you for your testimony today and yesterday. All right, the state can call its next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state will call Lieutenant Jared Wilmore.
Okay, this is our next witness. Going into our next person, and then we're gonna pass up a lot of this stuff after.
On this witness.
Like I said,
Alright,
we're gonna probably
Mr.
start
Reynolds.
skipping around. So let's just take a second and just say how hard that was. This was something we didn't even technically finish. It was just too much. Ray did a great job, and just a hard thing to do. I don't know how you handle this. I don't know how you're supposed to go through this. That was really hard. So did a great job, man. Just proud of him. I know this was a long time ago, but hearing that, he did a great job, and he I can't imagine how effective his testimony was for all of this to come down. Ranch Ray, baby. Okay, let's keep going. Just remember, guys, like the jury, for me, it just really hurts. It really hurts to think about the jury because this is not fun. Like, this is hard. You're doing your civil duty. You have no idea what you're walking into, and then you go in there and you get traumatized forever. Not easy. Not easy at all.
All right, Lieutenant Wilmore, as we get started here, I'll just remind you, we're keeping a stenographic record of these proceedings, so please use verbal responses such as yes or no. Please try to avoid talking at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's just
remains clear. With that in mind, Mr. Ramley, you can inquire.
Thank you, Judge.
context here, guys. Number one, you don't assume that someone's trying to kill you. There's also a silencer if that's what he had. We know now. I never knew this. Obviously, the ghillie suit thing, that's a big deal. That means somebody was literally, Alex could have been laying in grass, tall grass somewhere trying to shoot Tammy and thought that that would be what it is. So now you're thinking yourself, if someone who's not a gun nut, exactly like you just said, or not even just doesn't have any knowledge of guns, you would just think like someone's playing a prank on me, just like Brandon. I mean, like, because it's so hard for your brain to conceive. Someone just tried to kill me. I can't understand. I would never be able to understand that. I've never been through that. And so I can't even imagine putting myself in that position. So yeah, I mean, of course they're mistaken. It's like, no, somebody wouldn't try to just take me. So maybe it's a paintball gun, like, because you didn't hear a pop, like it's a traumatic event, dude. I don't know. I hate that was even such a big thing of this last time, was to be like, oh, he thought it was a paintball gun. Oh, he thought it was like, come on, dude. Come on. Because you don't know. How would you know?
Lieutenant, can I have you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
Jared Wilmore, Willmore.
Lieutenant, where are you employed?
Madison County Sheriff's
Oh,
Office.
he's from Madison
How long
County.
have you been employed in that capacity?
It'll be 20 years this year.
And how long have you worked in law enforcement?
It'll be close to 20 years.
And are you post-certified?
Yes.
What are your current assignment and responsibilities?
Currently, I'm the captain over the Madison County Jail and manage that facility.
As a part of your current responsibilities, do you oversee the Madison County Jail Telmate system?
Yes.
Exactly.
Can you explain what that system is and how it works?
The Telmate system is an inmate
That's a great
phone
question.
system.
That's
They
probably a
can do
whole
video-
entire video to answer your question. I'd like to get into that at some point with you guys, just to give you guys context about reality, not an easy thing. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys about that in a full-on video.
visitations, phone calls, messages. It's so people who are in custody can talk to their family and friends on the outside.
And how long have you overseen Telmate in Madison County?
The last
Exactly.
6 years.
And does that include
Maybe
the
he
Telmate
gaslit her
system?
about
Does
it.
that
Yeah,
include both
he's like,
telephone
oh well, it's
calls
probably just a
and
paintball
video
gun.
visits?
Yeah.
Yes.
When a video call is made or taken by an inmate, is the camera always utilized?
Not always. It depends. If an inmate removes the tablet from the charging station, the camera function will go black, and then it just becomes an audio call.
Lieutenant, how do you ensure that inmates do not place calls or video visits on behalf of other inmates?
Each inmate has a unique PIN number assigned to them, so they have to enter in their PIN number. It's also, there's facial recognition for the tablet video visits, and it's managed and reviewed by deputies.
Oh,
to make sure
100%.
That's
Good thing he was, man.
Whenever an inmate places a call or participates in a video visit, is any information recorded or stored regarding that call or visit?
yes.
I don't know,
Anything
guys.
on the
I don't
system
know
is
all the
recorded,
information
with the
here.
exception of attorney
That might be
calls
true.
or
I don't know that though.
visitations. Those are privileged, so they're not recorded, but everything else is recorded.
Lieutenant, is the second or outside party participating in that call, is that individual required to provide name
Exactly.
and some personal
You know,
information?
God never leaves you. It's the other way around, but we always feel so distant from him. It's different in
And
our
as
brains than how it really
The
is.
individual who oversees this system, how do you access the information that is stored?
So I have a username and password to access the system. And then once into the system, I can go in and review any video visits or phone calls under any specific inmate listed that we have in custody.
And do you have the ability to edit or make changes to any of this information?
No.
Where are the phones and tablets that the inmates can utilize? Where are those located in the jail?
In our jail, we have a day room, a pod, we call it. And so in that day room, they are located in just that open day room area, and an inmate can access the phones, the tablets. Again, the tablets can be taken off a charging station and taken anywhere in that day room. The phones are hard mounted to the wall, and so they have to stand next to obviously have to stand next to the phone to make a phone call. So, yeah.
I'm wondering what
Do
we're
other
getting
agencies
into.
have the ability to edit or make changes to any of the information stored on these calls or videos?
No.
How do you know the date and time a call was placed?
Every time a phone call or video visit comes in, it is time stamped with the date and time that came in through the system.
Lieutenant, at the state's request, did you access some calls and video visits made or received by Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I could have the witness handed what has been marked as states 33. Actually, Judge, I'm going to have him handed 33, 34A, and 34B.
I'll see. Thank you. We talked about it.
Probably because he freaking knew he was trying to take her life.
Lieutenant, I'm going to have you focus on
Oh,
what's
Shelby,
been
that's
marked
really
as states
sweet.
33. Do
Thank you so
recognize that?
much.
Yes.
What is it?
You guys are
It's
freaking
a thumb
awesome.
drive
Man.
containing a phone call.
Yeah, you guys
from
are.
June 9th, 2020, between Chad and Lori Daybell.
And how do you know that?
I've reviewed and listened to this phone call.
And specifically, have you reviewed that USB device?
Yes.
And have you initialed and dated when you reviewed it?
Yes.
You guys are awesome, man. Seriously, this
Fair to
is
say that you monitored
we're like a family, man.
of
Seriously.
jail calls made between Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell.
Correct. Yes.
And you
Oh, this
recognize
is the phone call
number and the
between
voice
them.
as the second party as Chad.
Homie, okay, this is the thing, dude. The dude calls Lori. Oh yeah. We got to go get the PO box. I promise you we're going to do that. I will put that on my schedule. Okay. What's up, dude? Raw, Wrench, Ray in the building. We just finished your testimony, bro. Just want to just not even say the word that you don't know, but I just want you to know we appreciate you. Like, your hard work in this case is never going to ever be forgotten. And so just wanted to let you know, man, how much we care, how much we love you. And, you know, thank you for your service in this. And thank you for all you've done. This is a lot. It's a lot. So, okay, we're going to keep going, guys. We're finishing up here. We're almost done.
And is it a true and accurate representation of a call that was made between Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell in State's Exhibit 33?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit State's 33.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit.
He
33
called Lori.
Admitted.
He called Lori
Lieutenant,
and
I'm gonna
said
have
they're
you look
searching
now.
the
Sorry to
properties.
interrupt. Just
I'm sorry, Judge.
brief sidebar with counsel, please.
I like that they fast forward all the stuff. We don't have to worry about it.
All right, we just had a brief sidebar. The court was just discussing the admission and handling of digital files with counsel, so thank you for your attention on that, counsel.
And I forgot you have to like
Apologies for my interruption.
submit
You can
everything
continue to your
in
intervention, Mr. Revel.
before you do the evidence.
Lieutenant, I'm going to have
Very
you now look
specific
at
way
what
you
has
have
been
to do
marked as
things.
State's Exhibit 34A. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
It's a thumb drive containing a digital video visit between Summer Shiflett and Lori
Oh,
Vallow
this is a tough phone call, man.
on June 24th, 2020.
And how do you know that?
This is the thumb drive I initially
This is a really tough phone call.
on the date I reviewed the phone call.
And you have reviewed that call on that thumb drive.
Yes.
And is it a true and accurate representation of a call made between Lori Vallow, or excuse me, a video visit made between Lori Vallow and Summer Shiflett on June 24th, 2020?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state would move to admit what has been marked as State's 34A.
Oh, look at
No objection
this.
to the admission of 34A. if it,
Graced by his
is what it purports to
presence.
Okay, thank you.
The
Mr.
brother
Thomas.
Brandon.
34A is admitted.
We got Brandon and
Lieutenant, I'm going
Ray.
to have you now look at
What an honor for me, man. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. Everybody would say what's up to Brandon. I got stuff falling over on the desk because I guess I'm too big. We got Brandon, we got Ray. You guys are awesome, man. This is crazy because look, you guys can see in a realistic way that this is seriously affects a lot of people, man. We already listened to Brandon testify in this. We already listened to Ray testify in this. All of it was hard. It's been a hard freaking time, man. I did not know how hard this was and the toll it takes. But look at this community, bro. Like, I'm gonna freaking cry out here. This community is amazing. It's amazing. I feel honored to have you guys here. So thank you for coming on. Seriously.
State's Exhibit 34B. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize that to be?
This is also a thumb drive containing a video visitation between Lori Vallow and Colby Ryan on August 3rd,
Oh,
2020.
boy.
And how do you know?
This is the same thumb drive that I dated and initialed after listening and reviewing the video visit.
And is that a true and accurate representation?
I
of a
don't
video visit
think I
between
knew we were going to listen
Lori
to that phone call.
Vallow Daybell and Colby Ryan on 8/24/2020?
Yes.
State would move to
Or
admit.
August 3rd, 2020.
August 3rd.
I'm sorry, August 3rd, 2020. Thank
So
you.
I called her August 3rd, 2020.
The state's moved to admit
June,
Exhibit
July,
34B. Is
August.
there any objection from the defense?
I didn't know.
No
I couldn't
objection to
remember when I
34.
called her. So that's 2 months. I called Lori for the first time after the kids were found and had that conversation. And that's when I called Chad. This is the thing, again, that we have to remember. When I called Chad, Peter Griffin, I did not ever think anybody else would hear it. When the reason I laughed so hard at myself saying that to her is because it's the most heated moment of my life. I went out of my way to call him that because it came to my brain. And no one ever was going to hear that comment. Like, you need to understand, that was never in my brain that they were going to pull that audio. It was just for her. I was just saying that to Lori in private. The fact that you guys all heard it is what it is, but I forgot I said that. So when I went and testified and was listening, I was like, I called him Peter Griffin. Like, I couldn't even remember. I didn't even remember that. So I was like, there's no shot that I did that. So that's why it's so wild. That is why it's so wild. Thank you. We respect you and love you too. Yeah, I'm just telling you guys, I really genuinely did not. It was a private conversation. It's not like I did it for anybody else. That's what's so crazy about it. Exactly. I didn't know. I had no idea people would hear that phone call ever in my life. Ever, ever, ever. So that's kind of the point, is there was no way for me to ever know that was going to exist. I don't know. It's so funny because of that. Like many narcissistic mothers, Lori saw Tylee as a rival, young, beautiful, mind of her own, a threat of her ego, and her and Chad and Tylee did not like him. Exactly. Yes. She didn't do anything wrong. She just didn't play the game. They were all playing a game.
Be, Your Honor, if it is what it purports to be.
Okay, Exhibit 34B then is admitted.
And then can I be handed back State's Exhibit 33, please?
33.
I will show you Peter Griffin. Okay. And yeah, that, you know what? That was the
Lieutenant, you
number
testified in
one
State's Exhibit.
most heated I've ever
33.
been, and reserved. I learned I
It was
could
a call
reserve
made
myself.
between Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell on June 9th, 2020. Does that date catch your attention?
Yes.
What catches your attention about it?
That was the date that a search was made out at Chad Daybell's property.
There is actually, hilariously enough, I couldn't screenshot it a long time ago to show you guys. There is actually a photo where Chad is wearing almost this exact attire. And it actually blew me away. It was in the Sins of Our Mother documentary. That's Peter Griffin. Again, never, ever, ever, ever planned for anybody to hear that conversation. I just said it to her in the heat of the moment. That's what makes it funny to me personally. I never knew someone would hear that besides her. Oops.
The search was conducted and the bodies of JJ and Tylee were found.
And you were made aware of it that morning?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would request that we publish State's 33.
Oh
to the jury.
boy. Are they going to play the
Objection
phone
not being
calls?
published.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 33 may be published to the jury.
Are they playing it?
This is a call from and paid for by Lori, an inmate at Madison County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now.
She called who?
Thank you for using Telmate.
She called.
No. No, they're searching three.
The house right
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's so Mark means we'll be talking to you.
now? What, are they in the house?
No, they're out in the property.
Are they seizing stuff? Again?
They're searching.
He knew. They both knew.
There's a search warrant. So it's James.
Yeah. That might. He knew he was going down right there. He's the most monotone human being I've ever heard in my life. That's the most dead voice of all time. It's haunting. It's haunting how dead his voice is. What was his play here? You want to know what I think? I think he was just going to try to get out of there, but where was he going to go? Like, he tried to run. He thought he could get away. What do you think was going to happen? What do you want me to do?
pretty calm. I would call.
I'm pretty calm.
Talk with him. I did call him. Yeah. So I can call from somebody else and you can talk to him. I love you so much.
These two are idiots. Just almost. Let me bite my tongue for a second here. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say it. They're ridiculous together. These two wouldn't know love if it was standing in front of them.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll try. Yeah. I'll answer if I can.
He knows. He knows.
I love you and talk soon.
Two. You two even know what love is? No. Yeah, guys, sorry. That's the audio. They played this recording in court and you basically heard it on the mics. They didn't like publish it, the audio very clearly. I can't fix that at all.
Your Honor, that's all I have for Lieutenant Wilmore. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rammel. Any cross-examination for this witness?
It's all the way up, guys, volume-wise. If they play any more audio clips,
No
I
pressure.
can't fix that.
All right, Lieutenant Wilmore, that will conclude your testimony. Thank you for appearing this morning, and you can be excused. All right, state can call its next witness.
The state now calls Joe Powell.
I don't know who this is. Yeah, they have. So what they did later on is they published like enhanced audio versions of these. We're just listening to the court
Mr.
feed.
Powell, if you just
but-
come forward, pause, and raise your right hand, I'll have you placed under oath by the clerk.
I don't know who this is.
All right, Officer Powell, follow the directions of the bailiff there. All right, I'll just remind the witness we're keeping a stenographic record
Joe
of the
Powell.
proceedings, so please
Oh,
answer
okay.
verbally
So he's for
with
Tammy.
yes or no, for example. Please also try to
Thank you.
avoid talking at the same time as anyone that's asking you a question. With that in mind, then also I'll have the state, Ms. Rawlings, please identify yourself on the record before we get started, and you can commence with your direct examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am Tanya Rawlings with the Fremont County Prosecutor's Office.
All right, you can inquire on direct.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as we discussed earlier, I do have some certified records for medical documents and also a certified copy of the exhumation
I don't know.
order for Tammy Daybell's body.
Oh, dude,
They
I
are
don't know.
marked as exhibits 38 through 41, I believe. And I think based on prior stipulation, I'm moving for their admission at this time.
This is I don't know, man. It's hard to listen to this
Exhibits
stuff, dude.
38,
Seriously.
39, 40, and 41, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, individually, I'll call those out, and they've all been offered. Is there any objection to the admission of Exhibit 38?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection to admitting Exhibit 39?
I've never met him. I saw him in the court that one time. And the one time that I saw him in court, I was told to not look at him. And I couldn't help myself. I ended up staring him down. And I knew something was wrong. And I was thinking to myself, if I could get to him right now, oh, it'd be Creed versus Drago, man. And I'm Drago. First fight
Your Honor, I
though.
apologize. If we can go back
First
to
fight
38.
though.
It's on the business record itself. On the front of it, it says Exhibit 83. And on the back of it, it says 38. Is that what you have?
I do. There's lined out, looks like previously marked sticker. I have a courtesy copy, so mine doesn't have the currently marked trial sticker, but it probably is worth clarifying on the record the number and the explanation of the sticker on page 1.
Yes, it was used in a prior proceeding, Your Honor. And so the sticker on the front is not the correct sticker. The sticker on the back of the page is the correct one.
Okay, and that would be Exhibit 38, correct? Which is it's entitled Business Records Certification. of
I thought
Tylee
about it.
Medical Group.
Correct.
Okay. Any objection now if that clarified, Mr. Thomas?
No, Your Honor, I was just concerned that maybe there was a dyslexic type of moment, but I think we're good.
All right.
I had a.
On Exhibit 39, does the defense have?
I was
any
ready, dude. That
objection to
dude.
its
I knew there was
No,
something
Your Honor.
wrong.
On Exhibit 40, it's been offered. Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Exhibit 41 has also been offered. Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Each of those exhibits is now admitted into the record of the trial. You can commence with your examination then, Ms. Rawlings.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
did
Your
not
Honor.
care what anybody thought at that moment. To be honest with you, I was
Lieutenant
like,
Powell, would you please state your name?
we,
and
we have
spell
problems. I'm
your
about to
last
come
name
over
for the
there.
record?
Joseph Powell, Powell,
Where do you currently work?
Fremont County Sheriff's Office,
And how long have you been employed with them?
21 years.
What is your current job title?
Lieutenant.
Do you have any specialized training in order to be a peace officer?
Yes, you have to attend the Idaho Police Academy, and then they require 40 continuous.
I knew something was
continuing
wrong. I'll
hours
tell you that.
every-
I knew
every
it was
2 years.
wrong.
Do you have any additional training to be a lieutenant?
Yes,
And what training and experience do you have as a lieutenant?
I've been a lieutenant for 6 years and 100+ hours of training.
Okay.
Appreciate
And
you.
as
Thank
a
you,
lieutenant,
Susan.
what are some of your job duties?
Oh, he cowered up.
I'm over patrol, the detectives. I oversee.
Let me tell you
patrol.
something. I was out of shape then, man. I was not doing good, and I still would have been freaking partying there, boy. You know, I'll tell you one thing is funny. You know what? No, I'm gonna save that for Chad's trial because you guys, it makes sense there.
Look at reports,
I got something to
cover
tell you.
patrol shifts, and help detectives as needed.
Remind me to tell you.
Have you worked as a detective in the past?
Yes,
How long did you work as a detective?
approximately 4.5 years.
Are part of your current duties to investigate and follow up on cases?
Yes, if detectives need help or they're busy, then I'll take.
Oh, I was ready though.
In your current role, you informed of unattended deaths in Fremont County.
Yes,
Did you learn of the death of Tammy Daybell?
yes.
When did you learn of her death?
On October 19th, 2019.
Okay. And in addition to that, were you also contacted by another law enforcement agency regarding her death?
Yes,
Who was that?
Gilbert Police Department in Arizona.
Okay. When
It's
did they
a
contact
lot
you?
of people that are involved in
On
this, dude.
October 31st, 2019.
What did you learn from that contact?
That they was inquiring about Tammy's death and if we was investigating it, and they had an attempted murder down there.
At some point, did you become aware of an individual or of an investigation involving someone named Lori Vallow?
Yes,
So
Did you
many
also learn about an
counties and
individual named
people
Alex
and
Cox?
FBI
Yes.
And did you also learn about an individual
victims,
named Chad
dude.
yes,
Daybell? Did the Gilbert Police Department request your assistance?
yes, they did.
What did they request your assistance with?
Trying to locate a 2018 Jeep Wrangler, gray in color with Texas plates.
Did you personally follow up on looking for the Jeep?
Yes.
Where did you initially attempt to locate the Jeep?
Went to the 202 North, 1900 East in Fremont County,
And what residence is that?
the Chad Daybell residence.
Okay. Why did you follow up on this?
It was just quick and easy. Detectives was busy. So I just got in my vehicle and drove out there and checked.
Okay. Did you conduct additional surveillance when you were looking for the Jeep?
Yes.
Where did you conduct that additional surveillance?
565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg.
And
There's a
how,
lot of
if at
people
all, did that
involved.
connect to the death of Tammy Daybell?
We love you too.
Chad Daybell was at that residence there.
What, if anything else, about your conversation with Arizona caused you concern over Tammy's death?
About the death surrounding the individuals and the attempted murder.
Okay. Was there anything that caused you concern specifically with the names Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell being connected?
Yeah, the same with the deaths and
Yeah,
attempted murder.
it's hard because like
Were you involved in surveilling Chad and Lori?
Yes.
How so?
We surveilled them to
I've never
different
seen someone
locations.
with 2 hot dogs in their one hand ever in my
Your
life.
Honor, I'm going to ask
That
that the witness
shocked
be
me.
handed States Exhibits 35 and 36 at this time. And I believe
You
the court
can't
and defense
wait.
has courtesy copy.
You have to have one full one behind the
Can I take
one.
notes just to make sure the same as my courtesy?
It just will never make sense to me. Why would you need to have a second
Thank you.
hot dog in one hand, half bit, and one behind it? Like you can't reload fast enough. I eat fast. You can ask Kelsey. I eat my food within.
All right, with
I
respect
inhale my
to
food.
Exhibit 35,
But
do you
come on.
recognize this document, Lieutenant Powell?
Yes,
How are you able to recognize it?
I was sitting at that table when the photo was taken,
And when was that photograph taken?
November 1st, 2019.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you saw it on the day that it was taken?
I am going to say
Yes.
this part. I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've pitched this to you. I think I have. I think I've told you guys this. Okay. You go ahead and I pitched this to you. I have. I know it. Go ahead and do this. Here's what you do. You tell Chad Daybell, we'll put however much money on the line. You know how there's all these YouTubers and all these people who aren't boxers boxing right now, right? Say me and Chad have 3 rounds. I will do any weight class he wants. If he's 250 pounds, I will become 250 pounds. If he is 200 pounds, I will lean down to 200 pounds. Hire him a professional trainer. Get him the best trainer in the world to train him every day. I will get a trainer and give me 3 rounds. And if Chad wins, he gets to have all the commissary and everything he wants for the rest of his life. Let him spend all that money on himself because he's a narcissist. He's a psychopath. Let the dude have as much money as he wants to buy as many things as he wants. Okay. Give me 3 rounds, 3 minutes. Okay. Even if you give me 3 minutes, give me 3 minutes of a boxing match. I will do any weight class. I will figure it out. I don't care. I will literally drop as much weight or gain as much weight. Okay. And we will go at it. Just give me that chance. You're telling me we couldn't do something big with that? Get him a trainer. Get him a winning trainer. Get him a all-out trainer. Get him Tyson's trainer. Oh man. You're telling me that we couldn't figure out a way to logistically make that work? I don't need money. I don't care. I don't care about it at all. I don't need anything. Just give me the opportunity. Offer him the money. That's what I'm trying to say. Offer him all the money. I'll come in there too. They want to bring it in there and have it held there. I'll come through. Let's get it.
Are there any material alterations to that photograph?
No.
Your Honor, I'm moving for the admission of State's Exhibit 35.
Oh,
Any
Kelsey
objection?
found
No
it.
objection.
Exhibit
Look.
35 is
Hold on.
And turning your
They told me don't look at him. I didn't care. I don't know if you guys can. Kelsey found it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it fast enough. Right there. I was staring at Chad. They told me don't look at him. They said don't look at him. I was so pissed though, because I knew something was wrong. There you go. That's it. That's what I'd say. I don't care how much money it is. I don't care if it's $1 million and that's what we offer for Chad's side. You get $1 million. If I win, I will donate every penny somewhere else. I don't care. I just want the fight. Just give me 3. Just give me 1 round.
attention to Exhibit 36, Lieutenant Powell. Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
How are you able to recognize it?
This was on that same day,
And can you tell us the date again?
November 1st, 2019.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the scene as you observed it that day?
Yes.
Are there any material alterations to the photograph?
No.
Your Honor, I also move for the admission of Exhibit 36, excuse me.
Any objection?
No objection.
Exhibit 36 is admitted.
And Your Honor, may I have those exhibits back to publish them to the jury?
You may.
Just give me that one chance, man. I will put on as much weight or lose as much weight as I need to. I will drop weight class. I don't care what we get down to. Now, if you go UFC fight, that would be worse. He's not making it
All
out
right,
of that
and I
one.
think this is the third time that I've asked
So
you
we'll
this
just stick to
question, but
boxing. Just
when
stick
did
it
you
to boxing,
observe
just
Chad
hands.
and Lori at Cafe Rio?
November 1st, 2019.
And this picture depicts that.
Yes.
And what were your observations of them while they were at Cafe Rio?
Boxing with psychopath.
There's in conversation and eating.
Okay.
Here's the thing. You think you're tough and you can go kill all these people. Why don't you just actually be a man and give me 5 minutes. I don't need anything more than 5. 5 minutes. One-on-one, 5 minutes with gloves, with a ref. I will be clean. No cheap shots. Just absolute missiles. I will just wait for one opening. And once you're knocked out, I'm walking away. And all that money, go wherever you want it. I don't even care. Don't care about it at all.
Where else did you observe?
Give it to
Chad and
people
Lori?
who need it in their life.
Walking
We'll
in
donate
the
it
Hobby
all.
Lobby.
Okay, and does this picture show that?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And what did you observe about their behavior with each other?
They was holding hands as they was walking in.
At some point, was an investigation into Tammy's death conducted?
Yes.
Why?
Because of all the suspicious circumstances, the investigation, her age.
Okay.
Oh,
You
let's get
mentioned her
Ray.
age.
Imagine Ray in my
Were there
corner
any
as my
other
trainer, giving me that rock speech, man, that Rocky speech.
suspicious circumstances that you elaborate on?
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat, dude. I would not miss a day in
Through the
training.
investigation, it seemed that she was in pretty good health.
Okay.
Bring it.
And was this a joint investigation with other agencies?
Yes, it was.
Bring it.
What other agencies were
Bring
involved
it
at
all.
this point?
I want all the smoke.
Rexburg Police Department, the Sheriff's Office, and I believe the FBI was too.
At some point, did you turn this investigation over to detectives in the Fremont County Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
Is that a common practice?
There he is.
How
Let me
is
ask
that
you,
decided?
Ray. Would you train me to get in that ring and start that fight? Would you do it? Do we got your blessing? Would you be in that corner? Oh, we'd have something there, I'm telling you. Like I said, let's just do it. Just do it. Call it. That's the problem. We'd have to there would have to be some WWE tag team in there. Have to do a tag clap in unless somebody else got in there.
It's just decided on by me, the sheriff, or the chief deputy, and depending on the caseload and what's going on.
Okay. What did you do specifically in relation to the investigation involving Tammy's death?
I did a search warrant on the townhomes in Rexburg, on one townhome in Rexburg. And then I helped with the search warrant at the Daybell residence and the exhumation of Tammy Daybell.
Okay. Now, with regard to the search warrant for the townhomes in Rexburg, the one specifically you did, were you able to determine who was on the lease?
Yes.
Who was that?
Alex Cox.
Do you recall the number?
175.
Okay. Did you also seek search warrants for Tammy Daybell's medical records?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn from your review of those records?
That she didn't go to the doctor very often. She was in good health. She was being seen for depression and her hand.
Do you recall from your review of those medical records anything regarding her heart or blood pressure?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I don't think he has the qualifications to be commenting on medical records.
At this point, I will sustain that objection. I think that's probably outside of the scope of proper testimony for this witness.
Did you run a controlled prescription check or seek a search warrant for Tammy's prescriptions?
Yes.
What did you learn from your review of the prescription records?
Again, Your Honor, I'm not sure he can testify as to a review of prescription medical records. It's the same thing.
He can talk about what he saw in review of the records. What that means is probably outside the scope of any expertise he may have, but you can answer that question, and I'll probably have Madam Prosecutor read the question again at this point.
Okay. And And I'll maybe lay a little bit more foundation, Your Honor, too.
Thank you.
As part of your duties as law enforcement, are you able to run
If we get
controlled substance checks?
we can make it happen.
People's
I already told you I'm
prescriptions?
down.
Yes,
And that's a
Sign
database
the
that you have
contract.
access to as a member of law enforcement.
yes,
And so
Sign
you're
the
able
contract.
to verify whether someone has a prescription for a controlled substance.
yes,
All right. And then in addition to that check, in this case, you also did get a warrant for her prescriptions from Walmart. Is that correct?
yes,
And in checking that, just asking what you observed or what you saw in terms of the prescriptions she was provided.
she was prescribed fluoxetine and tramadol.
Based on that, did that cause you any additional concern?
Yes,
What was that?
Your Honor, I apologize, but if he's going to start talking about fluoxetine or tramadol, I'm going to have an objection. I don't think he's qualified to speak on those things. I don't think there's been proper foundation as to his qualifications as a pharmacist and or medical doctor.
All right, there is a pending objection. I think certainly the officers got the foundation here in the training to review what prescriptions were in terms of what those may mean in a medical sense. I think would be outside the scope of proper testimony. So there hasn't been a response yet, but with that in mind, Madam Prosecutor, you can continue to inquire.
They're all the thing is they're
As a
all
result of your
cowards, dude.
investigation, was a decision made to exhume Tammy Daybell's body?
yes.
They're all
What
cowards.
facts for you played into the decision to exhume her?
She was healthy, her age, there was no sign of heart or blood pressure. And with
Again, Your Honor, I'm going to object. He's now talking about her medical diagnoses.
That's overruled.
Yeah, he's giving
You can continue to
context.
and
answer.
with her husband being with another lady so soon after.
There you go.
And what role did you play in the
You have
process
to ask
for
a
exhuming her
question
body?
why you were looking
I
at her
got a
medical
court
stuff.
order from Utah.
And was that signed by a judge?
Yes, it was.
Where was her body located?
Springfield, Utah.
Okay. Were you present for the exhumation?
Yes,
And Your Honor, at this time, I'm going to ask that the witness be handed states exhibits 37A through 37H.
All right, the witness will be provided those exhibits.
And
There you go.
Lieutenant, can you just review those quickly?
I apologize, Your Honor. Before he answers, may I take a look at those just to make sure they conform to what I have?
Yes.
Thank you.
And so seriously, guys, it's shattering. Like I don't ever want there to be an overshadowing of the fact that Tammy was a mom, was a sister, was a daughter. Like I met her family, and I'm not going to talk about that, but like I saw the effect it has. And yes, like it's so unbelievably hard that I lost my family, but another family member was lost in this whole entire thing. She was taken, and it's hard because when
Thank you, Your
there's
Honor.
so
And
much
just to speed things along,
brutality
I have no objection to
for
the-
Tylee and JJ, sometimes it can overshadow what happened with Tammy, but we just need to make sure to not overshadow that fact, no matter how horrible it is. And I just want to say that myself, so you guys know, like we cannot overshadow the fact that Tammy, her life was taken, and then her family had to go through all of this just as much as I had to go through what happened with my family. It's very, 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 very hard. And this whole thing is, it really hurts and breaks my heart, So when it comes to this trial about all three of them, I just don't want her to get overshadowed here, This is exactly why it's so hard. Appreciate you guys, man. She sounded like an amazing person. Yes, young and healthy. They're trying to prove that. No, 100% we can't. But we really didn't talk about Charles in this trial as much. It's not that he wasn't, but they weren't charging them for Charles here. We know that Charles got his justice, and he can't be overshadowed either, right? But in this case specifically, it's really easy in a sense to kind of overshadow Tammy, because the kids. But I just want to remind us all that.
Mission of any of those.
All right, thank you for that, Mr. Thomas. So they're being offered, I assume, Ms. Rawlings?
Yes, Your Honor. And if there's no objection, I'd move for their admission and to publish to the jury.
Okay, I will then put on the record exhibits 37A,
Yep.
B, C, D, E,
A horrible,
F, G,
horrible
and
husband.
H
Like you
have all
can't.
been admitted and may be
And
published.
this weird thing about these spouses is that this was like way deep into their marriage where they've already had an entire
And
life and
Lieutenant Powell,
kids. And
in your review
everything
of those
together.
photos, were they, I think I may have already asked you this, but in case I didn't, were you present for the exhumation?
Yes, I was.
And I'm just going to walk you through this, and maybe it's better to see. So in looking at State's Exhibit 37A, what does that depict?
Tammy Daybell's grave, and off to the right-hand side, you can see the backhoe, a little bit of it.
did a dig. Oh, I can't, dude.
And 37B?
The backhoe digging the grave up.
$37C?
The vault being lifted out of the ground.
$37D?
The vault outside the ground.
And what material is the vault made of?
Cement.
$37E?
The vault being open, showing the top of the casket.
And 37F?
Inside the vault with the casket removed.
Dude.
37G?
The casket being loaded into the vehicle to be transported.
Okay. Where was her body taken?
To the medical examiner's office in Utah.
See,
And
regardless of, I just want to say this too, man. Regardless of how Chad's kids react to this isn't like for me to really go back and forth with, but regardless of how their belief system is, it just still is hard because they lost their mom. I don't know what they believe now. I've never spoken to them, so I can't really speak on their stuff. I know I've heard what you guys have told me that they've said, like that they believe it and they believe their dad. And that's something you just can't change. But it really puts us in a position of I still feel for the fact that they lost their mom. And if they just don't believe that that's what happened, you can't change that. Still doesn't change the fact that they lost their mom.
Were you present when the coffin was opened?
Yes, I was.
Did you know Tammy Daybell prior to this investigation?
No, I did not.
Were you able to identify the remains of Tammy Daybell?
Yes.
How?
From photographs.
And 37H is being published to the jury at this time. Was Tammy's body still in a condition that you could identify it based on those pictures that you'd reviewed?
Yes.
Was there any indication that the body or the casket had been tampered with in any manner?
No.
And what did you see inside the casket?
Tammy Daybell's body.
That would be really hard, dude. That would be
Were you
really,
present for
really,
the
really
autopsy?
hard to
Yes, it was.
Was there
How'd that
a
happen?
determination as to the cause of death at that time?
No, there was not.
Following the autopsy, what happened with regard to Tammy's body?
She was taken to a funeral home and then prepared and then taken back out and reburied.
Once the autopsy was concluded, were there any other actions taken in relation to that investigation?
Yes, from the other detectives.
Okay. Now I'm going to turn your attention to January 3rd of 2020. Were you working that day?
Yes, I was.
What was your assignment that day?
To help serve a search warrant.
Where did you serve the search warrant?
202 North, 1900 East in Fremont County, Idaho.
And what type of building is that?
It's a
Thank you,
single
Carolyn.
family dwelling.
Okay. And whose residence is it or dwelling is it?
Chad Daybell's.
Were any other agencies involved in the service of that search warrant on January 3rd, 2020?
Yes, Rexburg detectives, FBI ERT team, and the Fremont County Sheriff's Office.
Did they collect?
Fremont County Sheriff's Office.
Did they collect evidence?
Yes,
At the end of the search warrant, were items found in the home turned over to you?
yes.
Do you recall who turned those items over to you?
The FBI ERT team
And where was this again?
at 202 North, 1900 East in Fremont County,
And how were the items packaged?
in evidence packaging.
What did you do with those items?
Loaded the items in my vehicle and Detective Mattingly's vehicle,
Okay. And after loading those items, where were they transported?
the Fremont County Sheriff's Office.
After arriving at the sheriff's office, did you turn possession of those items, all those items, over to another officer?
Yes, to Detective Bruce Mattingly.
And were you involved in booking any of that evidence?
No, I was not.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay, this is the last part of this one. Then we're going to call it today. And then I'm probably going to have a longer day to run through. Melanie Gibb, I think, is next. We'll see what this finishes off with.
Is the
But
court wanting to take a mid-morning break anytime? Just kind of give me kind of a ballpark as to when you want me to.
I was thinking around 10:30, but anytime.
Okay, I think I could probably do that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas.
this is still
Morning, Officer Powell. How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
20
Good.
minutes. Okay.
So I want to talk a little bit about a couple
Yes,
of
thank
things.
you guys. You guys are a great community to
Um,
have, man. Honored to have you guys.
You work for the Fremont County Sheriff's Office currently.
Yes,
Have you ever worked for any other agencies?
100%.
Okay.
That's just the truth.
You were contacted by the Gilbert Police Department in Arizona. Is that right?
yes,
With regards to locating a Jeep.
yes,
And
I'm
from
pretty
that,
sure Melanie
you were
Gibb is
involved in some
next.
surveillance of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Is that right?
yes.
And you took some photos. I believe one was at Cafe Rio. Do you know where that was? Was that in Fremont County or Madison County or somewhere else?
That was in Bonneville County.
Bonneville County.
Yes,
And how far is that from St. Anthony? Your office is in St. Anthony. Is that right?
yes, it is.
And this photograph was taken in Idaho Falls. Is that right?
Yes,
So how far of a drive, if you were to drive, how far is that?
approximately 30 minutes.
Okay. And your normal jurisdiction is Fremont County, but you indicate in this particular case that you've served a search warrant or was the primary on a search warrant in Madison County, correct?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I apologize. Maybe I got some things mixed up. You were not on the search warrant of the townhomes in Rexburg?
No, if I did, I just assisted. I was not primary on it.
Okay.
I don't understand what the
You didn't
defense's job
testify
is
to anything
do
about
here.
search warrants in the townhomes in Rexburg?
I served a search warrant to see who was on the lease for the townhomes. Yes,
Okay. And those townhomes are located in what county?
Rexburg,
Madison?
Madison County. Yes,
Okay. All right. And you indicated that Alex Cox was on the lease at 175,
yes,
Or that they had a freaking
but you weren't
entire
involved in,
empty
in,
one, an entire empty unit.
actually searching that townhome?
I don't recall, but if I was, it was just assisting Rexburg PD.
Okay. But you don't have any specific recollection of being there when those townhomes were searched?
I don't.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just like Melanie. So we're gonna
As far
always
as your
say Melanie Gibb
surveillance goes,
when we
of
refer to Gibb
Lori
because
and Chad Daybell,
there's two Melanies.
how many times did you surveil them?
Just that one day.
Oh, just the one time. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you follow them to their location from Fremont or Madison County?
Yes,
And which one?
from Madison County.
Okay. And where in Madison County did you follow them from?
565
You guys are awesome, man.
Pioneer Road.
Okay. So where were you? Were you doing kind of like a stakeout or something at that particular area?
Yes,
Okay. And how long had you been there before you saw Chad and Lori?
I don't recall how long we'd been there.
Half an hour, more than half an hour?
I'd say at least a half an hour.
What does that?
And
What
then
does
you
that do
followed
for
them
anybody?
down to Idaho Falls?
We followed them a few different places, but yes, we did end up on Idaho Falls.
When you say we, who is we?
There was myself, Chief Deputy Thad Gardner, Detective Stubbs.
It's a lot of people, bro.
Detective Hermosello was there for a little bit, but then he had to leave.
Were you all four in the same car, or were you in different cars?
Different vehicles.
Okay. So you were the only one in your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
Why are you trying to?
And
What a
your
weird
knowledge,
line of questioning. I'm just trying to
Were
understand.
you the only one who captured photographic evidence of this particular surveillance?
No, there was others that collected photos.
Other photos that were taken on this day?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. When you were sitting in Cafe Rio, did you happen to overhear any of the conversation between Tad and Lori?
So a temple recommend for people who are LDS is there is like your regular church. People go to church in the LDS church, like regular buildings on Sundays. The temple is like a separate entity that you have to like be. They like go through like a thing of worthiness for them, and they decide if you can like go there and do more things in the temple. So that's the best I could give you. I mean, I'm sure if you guys are interested in things like that, you can look it up for more information. But this is the reason why the temple recommend idea is really important, is because that's what they were trying to say that Charles was trying to take from Lori, like a very specific thing that they wanted to prove that he was trying to do it. So when you do a temple recommend, you can't just go as an LDS person in the LDS church. They're not allowed to just go, because I grew up LDS. You're not allowed to just go to the temple. You have to get a temple recommend from your bishop, and there's like a list of like worthiness, basically. I'm not LDS any longer. So I have not been LDS since for 8 years. 8 years I have not been LDS. So but when you are LDS, to get a temple recommend, you meet with someone, and then you like there's a certain list of like worthiness that you are to go to the temple. I would yeah, exactly. Brandon would have a better explanation of it. I'm probably not doing a great job of explaining really what it is. So that's all it is though. But it is something you don't just have as someone who's LDS. You have to like go get it from someone else.
No.
How far away were you?
There was a table in between us.
Okay. It didn't look like it was very busy. Were they talking at all?
Appeared to be talking, yes.
Okay, but you couldn't hear anything they were saying?
Not to my recollection, no.
Okay. Were you involved at all in the October 9th investigation of the attempted paintball shooting of Tammy Daybell?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is beyond the scope.
I'll overrule that.
Oh, I'm confused because there's a lot of voices here.
No, I was not.
I'm trying to figure out who's who when they speak.
Do you happen to know, you were involved in the investigation of Tammy Daybell's death, correct?
Yes.
I mean, obviously you went down to the
see that.
exhumation and stuff.
Yes.
Are you aware of where Lori Vallow was when Tammy Daybell died on October 19th?
No.
Would it surprise you to know that she was in Hawaii?
Can we hear this?
No.
Or did he already
No
use
further
that
questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Any redirect from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that'll conclude the testimony then of.
Would it surprise
Mr.
you to
Powell.
know? No.
I think this will.
Alex.
be the time to take a mid-morning break.
They-
If I
they-
could briefly meet with counsel at the beginning.
It's
break
the
to
dumbest thing I've ever
schedule.
heard, to
We'll do
think that you are.
All please rise for the jury then.
It's just one of those things where it's like, come on, bro. All right. I don't know who's left. We've still got 8 minutes. So let's see if there's an actual 8-minute anything. Silence. Okay. All right, guys. I think we did a great job today. We busted through a lot. We still have some major things to get to. we still got a lot to get to. What we're going to do now is probably set ourselves up for the rest of the week. We're trying to bust out this one faster because we just have so much more to get to. We have Chad's trial to also try to get to, and we only have like a few days to do so. So it's definitely something. Well, I guess it's the 25th, so we have a list, literally 4 weeks to do everything, and it's a lot. And there's the other thing is too, guys. The other thing is too, like, just remember that once we get to the sentencing, you know, this is pretty much it. This for me personally, this journey it's never going to be an over thing for me, but for our channel and for my thing, you know, I want it to be past that. Oh, you know, there's no bigger compliment than that, brother. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt lazy today. I just wore the shirt. I said, frick this. It's hot. Not doing it. I'm not going to put on a whole nother shirt when I'm already just hot and sweaty. It's hot in this room. It's 100 billion degrees outside. But so what we'll do is I'm going to structure out and look through again and just make sure we're kind of following more of the key pieces of this. We might have to skip around some videos. It might not be these longer form videos. It might just be like certain people's testimonies from here. So, you know, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. You know, it means the world to me to have a family like this, like you guys. And, you know, it means everything to me. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being incredible. And I love you. And I will let you know when we're going live. I'll make sure that I have a live tab for you open way ahead of schedule so you guys can click on it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will keep you guys up to date. Love you.